street? And who had the #1 record this week in 1971? So turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA. ON Radio.
Do you remember the 20th century? If you do, you should be listening to Do You Remember weekday mornings on ON Radio. Hi, everyone. This is John W. And you know what they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. So share your memories with me and your friends Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. That's the Do You Remember program right here and only on ON, AM, and FM radio.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio. ON Radio. ON Radio.
Hi, Mooseman here. The Groove Line is aired every Thursday live between 1 and 2 p.m. and replayed at 6 to 7 p.m. All your favorites, a variety of rock, and the Beatles every single week. That's the Groove Line right here on ON.
Are you tired of the same old dishing and depressing chatter in the morning radio? Then don't get down. Get up with me, Dave Richards, from 5 to 8 a.m. each weekday. On the Road with Joe, fun, the trivia quiz, and interesting stories, and your favorite tunes by your request. Don't get down. Get up with Dave. Weekday mornings only on ON, AM, and FM.
A Woonsocket teacher who allegedly tweeted that she would pay somebody infected with the coronavirus to cough on President Trump is resigning her post. Channel 10 TV News reports the Woonsocket School Committee accepted the resignation of Amy Bednarz on Wednesday. That tweet from the since-deleted account was sent last month. It was followed by a post that said the user was a 6th grade ELL teacher at Villanova Middle School. There had been assertions that the teacher didn't do it and that it was a hacked account, but the teacher has now resigned.
Massachusetts state officials say over 3,000 positive tests for coronavirus were confirmed in Massachusetts yesterday. The number is the highest single-day total of positive tests in the state since the outbreak.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email at joe@onesockeradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel on ON 1240, WOON Woonsocket Radio.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee and Time on ON, AM, and FM. My name is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Coffee and panel for Friday includes Tom Ward from the Valley Breeze newspaper. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And you doing okay? Tom, you doing okay?
I am. There's a time thing. I think we're okay now.
Bit of a delay. Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's check in. Paul Willett from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce is joining us. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Paul.
Paul's way in the background there, Dave.
All right.
There he is. You're much closer now, Paul.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Very good. Paul, let's get a first message from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, please.
Sure. Well, as I always say, we have a lot going on at the Chamber. We're excited to launch a new program starting on Monday. It's called Member Monday, and it's going to feature a member doing some type of a demonstration on their craft. And Monday, April 27th, we have John Hu from JH Communications. He's going to be doing a presentation on creating your own video during a crisis. All the experts are saying that you need to continue to market your business so that you're in a better position when we come out of this. And that's going to be on Zoom from 4 to 5 on Monday, so you can register online at the Chamber, and you will be getting a Zoom link for that. And we have several virtual webinars coming up on April 27th. We have one. On April 28th, productivity during the pandemic. April 30th, COVID-19 impact on your business model. And on April 30th, what you need to know about the CARES Act. And we do have coming up on May 5th a virtual Eggs and Issues with Senator Jack Reed. We're excited to have the senator. That is going to be, again, by Zoom. And if you have any questions that you'd like to present to the senator prior to the session, you can email those to lpelagi@nrichamber.com. We'll be cataloging those questions, and we'll present them to the senator. That's going to be May 5th from 9 to 10 a.m. So during this crisis, the Chamber continues to provide educational opportunities, we're there for your questions that you have, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about the new bill that was passed and some tips for small businesses to apply for that. But if you have any questions at all about any of these webinars that are coming up, you can call the Chamber at 334-1000, or you can visit us on our website at nrichamber.com. Thank you.
All right, Paul, are you getting a lot of calls, or when you talk to businesses that say, I don't understand, Paul, the state of Georgia thinks they can reopen their economy, the state of North Carolina thinks they can reopen their economy, I think Texas as well. Are they questioning you, saying, how come Rhode Island can't do this?
No, we haven't had any direct questions, although, we did get an inquiry from a restaurateur who seems to think that they should be able to open with some distance spacing between tables. But, no, this Georgia opening is so new. We really haven't gotten any inquiries on that. Some local restaurants and businesses right in Georgia refuse to open because they think it's reckless. Right. I know that someone questioned, why would a bowling alley be considered an essential business? We'll see. We'll see how this works out. I know that there are a lot of cities who are somewhat revolting and saying that, we need to reopen, but, we've gone this far, and it's just we have to wait and see what Georgia's going to be like in a few weeks.
I love what they're doing. I love it.
What
Georgia's doing? Yeah, because the people will be in charge. That to me is the way to do it. So when you talk about like Paul, you mentioned even here in Rhode Island, there was one restaurant owner who said, I think I can handle this in a certain way and be okay and be safe. Well, then let them try. Because at the end of the day, if you open and your tables are too close together and people don't feel safe, they're not going to come. So let the people figure it out. The whole idea that everybody's going to get COVID and die, that's what's keeping this thing. We're going to kill the economy. It's just that simple. And so, I like the fact that the Georgia governor said, let's do it. President Trump pushed back and said maybe not, and I'm sure there was political calculations in that. But the governor's like, no, let us try to figure this out. Now, there's consequences all around. If the governor tries to figure it out and people get sick again, say 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, there's a big spike in Atlanta and here and there and Savannah, and things start to go bad because people got too close too soon, then he's going to pay a political price for that. And he knows that. And so... But if he opens it and nobody comes, if people say, we still don't feel safe, we're going to give it another month. Or there might be older, there are young people who are going to say, I don't care, I'm fine.
Sure.
And then there are going to be older people who are going to say, my age and stuff, they're going to say, you know what, I've been this way for a while. Maybe I'm going to take another month off and not go to a restaurant. Or maybe I'm going to go just once a week. Or maybe we're going to go out to eat, but we're going to stay outdoors at an outdoor cafe or something. We want fresh air and stuff. But people are smart enough to make decisions. We give no credit for the fact that, we've gotten into this pattern in the last month where it's like, well, we're the state. We're the geniuses. We're the Department of Health. We have to make every decision around your life. That's nonsense. People are smart. Older people will decide to maybe stay back. I think it's going to take a long time before people get on planes and things. They're just going to change their habits. And so let them change their habits. You know, we're coming to a new place, whether we like it or not. We're coming to a new economy 6 months from now or a year from now. I'm not sure exactly how it plays out, but it's going to be different. And people are going to make that decision, not politicians. And so I'm kind of glad to see the freedom in Georgia. Let it be the petri dish for America. Let's all kind of look at it and see how it goes. There is political risk no matter what, but I think it's let people decide. Like I said, I have a cousin in Georgia. He's 80 years old, and his wife are 80. I'm sure no one's going to push them out the door. They're going to continue to be very careful. But the state will be open, but they're not going to, they're going to continue to be very careful. So let people figure it out.
But the people are not smart enough, Tom.
And in some cases, that's true. But they are, thank God, still to a point, they're free enough. And
right.
And so, if you want to be China, and everybody. We're already on the way. I mean, the drones flying around and fining you for this or that or the other thing. I mean, if you want to live in a totalitarian state, okay. But I'm not with you. I don't support you, and I don't support that. But it's not. Why should the state make every decision around your life? Why can't I can tell you, most of the people listening to this
best interest,
huh?
That's in your own best interest.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. They keep telling me this, and I'm like, really? And I'm not stupid. I don't know. And then you get to the point where the whole. I don't want to get into the whole science discussion, but clearly this has not been an outbreak that has. There's only one hot zone in America, and that's all the press is telling us about. Now that's basically Greater New York City and the top end of New Jersey. That's it. That's it for the entire country. There are smaller hot zones around Boston and a few other places, but by and large, I mean, the Michigan governor shut down Michigan. Should the Upper Peninsula be treated like Detroit? I mean, come on. Are you kidding? The Upper Peninsula of Michigan should be opened this morning. I mean, there's nothing going on up there, and yet people are forced to close their little breakfast place. I mean, are we kidding? How stupid is this? So it should be done county by county. Let the governors decide. I mean, even Georgia. I'm surprised that the Georgia governor is just opening. That's pretty bold and aggressive move. He might have said, well, not Atlanta, whatever the county names down there. This county and this county, we're going to go another week or two. But a lot of the open areas of Georgia were open, and let people figure it out. The whole thing with government takeover and more socialist and totalitarian ways is that the government thinks they're just the smartest people in the room, and we all need to obey them because they're just so smart. And I'm sorry, but I just reject that. I've rejected that all my life, and I certainly reject it now.
But I think 90% are look to that state, Tom, and just say, tell us what to do. Okay,
they do as long as the government gives them money, I suppose. Yeah, they'll be obedient for a free paycheck. But at a certain point, that's going to run out. I mean, that's just we can't live this way.
I was talking to a family member yesterday, and he took it to even in a more of an extreme, Tom. He's across the country. He goes, well, let's open up everything. He goes, I'm sick of this economy being stalled. And he goes, let the chips fall where they may. And are people going to die from the COVID-19? Probably.
Yeah.
But he also said, you know what? We're weeding out the herd.
Well, but that yes, he's right. And that's what we can't. That we as a society have decided we are completely intolerant of that now. That everybody must live, and now the high price of everybody must live. I mean, you come out as very insensitive where you say, well, this is doing a lot of damage in nursing homes, but not other places. Well, I have a loved one in a nursing home. It's tough to say. But on the other hand, is it really COVID killing a 95-year-old? I mean, really? How about old age? I mean, COVID might be, or pneumonia might be what tips a very elderly person over the cliff. But I would say anybody past the age of 90, they died of old age. I mean, this is what happens. And, you always hear the one story about that one fabulous 92-year-old who might have gone on another 3 or 4 years. True. There's going to be tragedy here. This is a virus that's an equal opportunity virus, but it seems to be not hurting young people so much. Some, but not all.
Yeah.
And, we've got to continue. There's two paths, I think. You got to keep working for a vaccine, which we're working very hard for. And then you got to keep working for medication that basically, if somebody shows up in a hospital and they're very sick, that there's a medication of some kind that makes them less very sick. And you can say to somebody, this isn't a death sentence. We think we have some therapies here that are going to take care. You might be in the hospital for a week or so, but we think we can tamp this down and get you better. And that's going to be a big change in the equation. But the question is the cure worse than the virus? And the damage being done to people, the suicides that are going to come now, all the things that are going to happen, the ruined families, the divorces, all the things that are going to happen because we shut the economy down. Was that a price worth paying to save, another 10,000 lives? I don't know.
All right, it always reminds me, Tom, when you hear the government or the state come out and say, well, it's for your own good that we're doing this, And if you remember the old TV sitcom from the 1970s, The Odd Couple, you remember The Odd Couple?
I do.
All right, Oscar Madison, one of my all-time favorite lines from that show, when he was told, well, it's for your own good. And he looked right at the guy that said that and said, when I think back to all the good times I've had in my life, none of it was for my own good. Please keep that in the back of your mind, okay? All right, Paul, for your own good, please give us another.
I thought you were going to talk about the Assume episode.
The who?
No, the Assume episode.
Oh, the Assume.
No, we can talk about that later. Let's get a second message, Paul, from the Chamber of Commerce.
Sure. Well, throughout all this, the Chamber continues to work on behalf of business. Where you resource for information. We do have a resource page for businesses on our website. There's a lot to decipher, and all I can tell you is that we continue to work hard on your behalf. Even though things are kind of at a standstill at the State House, the Chamber is always there for you. So we continue, as I mentioned before, continue to provide educational opportunities. We're doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work to position ourselves as the voice of business when we come out of this. And, if there was a message to tell the business community, this could be a good time to take a look at, how you operate, and to position yourself when we come out of this, because we will come out, and hopefully folks will take this time to look at their marketing strategies and to be a stronger business as a result. So we're still there for you. We're not physically in the office all the time. Some of us are coming in and out, but we're a phone call away. We do answer emails, so you can call the Chamber at 334-1000. You can email any one of the Chamber staff, and we will get back to you. So don't fall asleep. Know that we're there to work on your behalf.
Thanks, Paul. Coffee and program will continue. You can call in comments or questions, 766-1240, or email them in to me, joe@woonsocketradio.com. We have a message to get to when we come back.
I'm here with Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency in North Smithfield. Celeste, tell me about the Benjamin Agency.
Most of our business is providing home and auto insurance. However, we feel the most important thing is to insure people, Everyone insures their home, their autos, which are really just objects. I don't know if you know this, Dave, but only 57% of Americans even have life insurance. You may get into an accident, you may have a claim on your home, but life insurance is a guaranteed payout for your family. We are here to keep your family going. Our family serving your family.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
People ask what PACE is. Well, PACE is a different kind of health plan. There's really nothing like it. Because PACE was created to give older people with health challenges the care and support they need to keep living at home. If you have a parent who wants to remain independent and live at home, but needs help to do so, call 401-654-4176 or visit pace-ri.org and see what a difference PACE can make in both of your lives.
Hey, Steve, those sneakers are looking real sharp. They must have set you back some dough.
Not at all, Tom. I went to the sneaker outlet, and these are actually 10-year-old refurbished sneakers. They're just like brand new, and I paid a fraction of the cost for them.
Before throwing out your old sneakers, give them new life. Bring them in today for a deep clean and shampoo. The Sneaker Outlet can do this for you. And if you're in the market for a new pair, the Sneaker Outlet sells refurbished Nike sneakers for men and women at low prices. The Sneaker Outlet across the street from Honora Lippert on Main Street, Woonsocket. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. I'm Joe Callahan here with Paul Willett, and Tom Ward is here as well. We did have a message that was called in. Someone wanted us to know what the odds are for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. Okay?
Over Tampa Bay?
Yeah. All over the others. I don't have Tampa Bay in here, but as of yesterday, Kansas City Chiefs are number one at 5-1. The Ravens are at 6-1. San Francisco 49ers are at 8-1. The Patriots are number 7 at 18-1. So
that sounds about right. Yeah.
That'll of course change over time. And the Patriots did what they always do. Yesterday was draft day, or the first day of draft day, and they traded. So.
Yeah. What did they get? Do you pay attention to this? Because I was watching it briefly last night.
No, I pay attention.
Yeah. Okay. And I could see they were like 23rd or something like that. Oh God,
yeah.
This is going to be nothing. And then they did some trading, but I was wondering how they made out. But yeah, the whole funny thing is that can you imagine? And of course, they'd have to get past Kansas City. But if they put a good team together, can you imagine the Patriots Tampa Bay Super Bowl? Oh my God, that'd be one for the ages, wouldn't it?
I know the Patriots traded for somebody that was hurt all last year. Some guy named
from I think
Jacksonville.
Yeah. Inexpensive help.
Right. So they'll probably be taking people today because they traded away and to get more picks with today. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what Belichick does. So
yeah.
So they'll probably start picking up players today from college.
How many days does this go on? Is today the last day?
Oh no, it goes to the weekend.
Oh sweet Lord.
Yeah, it goes like 5 or 6 rounds of choosing. The media focuses in on the first round because those are the top players.
Right.
And so then you start hearing less and less and like that.
That's the most exciting sports we've got today. So
that's right.
That and I saw there was a 1988 Bruins Canadiens game last night. So I thought, wow, we're back to 32-year-old games.
Well, the best thing you know about watching those games is the Bruins are going to win. If Nesson is showing it,
that's true. That's true. It went so far back, I noticed there was no advertising on the boards.
Yeah,
I thought, wow, that's a long time ago.
What's that, Paul?
No, I'm just laughing at what Tom's saying. That sometimes some of those classic games, if your memory fails you, it can kind of have a little level of excitement if you get who wins. But like Tom said, the Bruin Montreal game, those are pretty predictable. You know who's going to win.
Well, as Joe said, if Nesson's showing it, I think they're not going to show any lowlights. So
The only time they show the Bruins losing or the Red Sox losing, sometimes they'll show the entire Stanley Cup series.
Yeah.
When the last time the Bruins won in 2011, they showed the entire 7 games against Vancouver. Okay, the Bruins are going to lose some of those games. But if they're only showing, hey, take a look at this one spectacular game that the Bruins had against whoever, guess what? The Bruins are going to win.
Are they going to show last year's Stanley Cup? Did they already do that? No.
No, I don't think so.
Too painful. Too soon.
We're not showing that one. Hey, so kudos to the Woonsocket Police Department. You know what they did yesterday?
No.
They went. They took a bunch of cars, I would say about 10, and they went over to Landmark Medical Center in the parking lot, and they formed the cars into a heart.
Oh, I did see that, yes.
To show their appreciation and love, I guess, for Landmark Medical Center and the workers there, the doctors and nurses and CNAs and janitorial staff and cleaning staff and food service staff. So they were just showing a little love back to the hospital. So I thought that was nice.
Well, it is a nice touch. I'm a little cynical about this, and this has nothing to do with Landmark. This is some of the other hospitals in Rhode Island. The people on the front lines of healthcare are getting pay cuts. So they put themselves at risk every day, go in and work at the hospitals on the front line of COVID, and they're all getting pay cuts. So it's like, show me the money if you want. You know, you show me respect. How about we keep our pay where it should be?
Is that because Lifespan and Care New England had reported those massive losses?
Yep.
And so
the people who are on the absolute front line are getting pay cuts. Doctors, nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, the people who are there in the ER are getting pay cuts.
Doing the roughest work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You might get it be the opposite.
Like I said, I'm not talking about Landmark because I have no idea what's going on at Landmark. So, but do I think it was nice of the police to do that? Sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and nice of them that got it organized. So that was great. I saw pictures of it up on Facebook last night, so that was pretty cool. Well, as what came as absolutely no surprise yesterday from the governor, closing down the school buildings in the state for the rest of the school year, following what Massachusetts and a lot of other states have already done going forward. So I'm sure you were not shocked, Tom. With the
no, I don't think anyone was. I think we know where Gina's going.
Yeah,
but I listen. I get back to the same question I asked Superintendent McGee when we were here maybe 4 weeks ago. Does this work? And I know everyone's going to tell you, oh, this is working. The kids are being educated. I will wait for evidence. First of all, I don't think, and again, I'm not knocking Dr. McGee for sure, or teachers or anybody. I'm just saying. This is a bold experiment. The kids will never be tested. The kids will all be passed and advanced to the next grade.
Well, yeah, this year.
And Dave's shaking his head. They're not all being advanced. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, we broadcast the school committee meeting on Wednesday night, Tom, and they were very, very specific that there will be
the same amount of kids.
There will be kids retained because they are not getting with the program because they are not going to just pass people.
Good.
They were very adamant about it at the school committee meeting that we broadcast on Wednesday.
Good for them, because you have to have some kind of thing out there. But I don't know, and I'd love to ask them when they say there are some kids not getting with the program. That doesn't surprise me, just because that's human nature. There's nobody there with a whip making sure they do the work. I don't know whether that's 3% or 5% or 20%, but that's my question, and I don't think we're going to get an honest answer during this period. Are these kids still getting educated?
We can give you numbers, Tom.
We did. And they didn't assign a percentage number, Tom. They said a small percentage, leading me to believe a single-digit percentage, of the 25% of students that aren't up to speed with distance learning are those who are refusing.
Just
they've got everything, and they're just not showing up.
Okay.
And the superintendent did say that he's knowledgeable that it may be difficult in some families where both parents are still working for the kids who have not yet learned discipline to get with the program. But that there are people in the school district who are working to eliminate that and to assist in that situation.
He did also say that there is another percentage of people who aren't getting the lesson plans. And he has been convinced that they weren't delivered by the U.S. mail in time for the students. And then there are those who are behind and not catching up fast enough. Those are many who did not have any means of doing the distance learning. The Chromebooks, they bought thousands of them. And they bought them early so that they could get them, before other school districts. And they're still being distributed, the Chromebooks. So and that's primarily elementary school students. Yep. So they said there's all kinds of different reasons why we have this. We're working on all of it. We're improving it day to day and week to week. Mm-hmm. But it's a catch-up situation. And he said all of that in response to, what do you hear from the governor? Are we going to be like this for the rest of the school year? He did not tip his hand. I'm sure that he had heard that the following day, this was Wednesday night, the following morning, Thursday morning at 11 o'clock, all the superintendents were being called to meeting with the governor to discuss the matter and be alerted of what she was about to announce yesterday afternoon. So he didn't tip his hand on that, but he did say that we haven't really gotten everybody in the school district on target yet. We need more time to do that. Right. If we never went back, we'll be much better by the end of the school year. But some will be retained in their grade because they just won't be able to move on.
Let's assume that. And like I said, I wasn't knocking teachers or administrators. You just made a good point. Chromebooks hadn't come in yet. All these challenges because coronavirus came suddenly. So there was a planning time. And so that's my point, is if kids are just getting Chromebooks now, then what's happened in the last 4 weeks? And I'm not saying nothing's happened in the last 4 weeks.
But it's still being distributed. Remember, when the Chromebooks come in, they still have to go through the IT department to lock them down to the Woonsocket
But what's happened in the last 4 weeks? And so that's my question is this going to be a sufficient education? And this is not knocking teachers. This is not knocking administration. The larger issue is, does this work? And we're not going to have that answer. And so while everybody, not everybody, but while the governor and the education director can sort of pat themselves on the back and say, look, we've got this going and everything's fine, I'm like, no. The only way you know if everything's fine is if you get to next September or October and test the kids and see if they learned anything last spring. No one's going to do that. So the fact is, we're just sort of out there and hoping for the best. And so I'm sorry to not be excited. But then on the other hand, you have educators like Dr. McGee, and I think he's a doctor, right? Is he? Yeah. Okay, Dr. McGee, and others who are saying, but kids are learning in new ways now. It's not the way it was back when you went to school. I believe that, and I admit that's why I can't help my kids with homework anymore. It was like, I don't know what you kids are learning. So the days of Grandpa helping with homework is, for my grandkids when they grow up, I don't know what they're doing. So so things are different. And so, like I said, I'm not saying that there aren't sincere efforts being made. There are. But it's just, are we going to get an educated citizenry when this is all over? That's what I worry about.
Well, so far, Dr. McGee says 75% yes.
Good.
Which he says in this school district, given all the challenges we have in this school district, he thinks 75% is remarkable.
I think he's right.
And we're working on the other 25.
Yeah, good.
And Infante Green, statewide, says it's 90%. I don't know where she's getting her numbers.
I don't believe that.
Getting it from governor.
I don't believe that.
So 90% seems pretty high.
That seems ridiculously high.
Well, but you just don't know where.
That seems politician high.
Okay. All right, it's time to take a look at the forecast right now, and the forecast is being brought to you by Compassion International. Today will be cloudy day, rain throughout the day today. High will be near 45. And new precipitation between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch is possible. Tonight, chance of rain before 8 p.m. It'll be cloudy during the early evening, gradual clearing, low temperature tonight around 34. Saturday, a very nice day, sunny and a high near 63. Saturday night, mostly cloudy, low around 39. Sunday, cloudy, rain likely in the afternoon, high near 49. Monday, cloudy with rain likely, high near 47. And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with the clouds, we have 39 degrees. You can change the world for a child in extreme poverty through Compassion International. Just text CHILD to 83393 to find out how. More of Coffee Ann's coming up. Stay tuned.
When in doubt, select Chan's and enjoy a wide variety of entrees, including great seafood like 5-spice shrimp, lo mein, and vegetarian specials. Chan's also features many combination entrees and house favorites like Oriental chicken and Mongolian steak. And don't forget their award-winning wonton soup. Chan's Four Seasons showroom can accommodate up to 125 persons for special occasions. Chan's at 267 Main Street, Woonsocket, 765-1900. Open 7 days a week, including lunch at 11:30 a.m. Chan's, just a few steps from the Stadium Theater.
So you're remodeling your home, and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price. Next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
Hi, this is Don Brunel inviting you to join us on the Midday Show from noon to 2 every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday with the Super Quiz, great oldies, and interesting guests. That's midday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from noon to 2.
Coffee Ann on ON Radio, and we hope to have Don back just as soon as possible here on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan on the Coffee Ann program with Tom Ward and Paul Willett. And Tom, time for first message from the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Well, thank you, Joe. If you haven't already picked up your Breeze, we've got some great stories in this week. One is on Tim Sheehan, who is a local guy from North Smithfield, and it's a cute little story. We had first heard about him a week ago. GQ magazine did a story on Tim and on his fight and his lab's fight against coronavirus and the work he's doing. And it's really important work, and he really is at the cutting edge. And it turned out he was class of 1994, Mount St. Charles, and now he's working in North Carolina. And so anyway, it's a great story Lauren Clem did. Much more, if you read the GQ article, I have to admit, I have a degree in biology and could barely get through it. It was so, it was tough. It was
technical?
It was technical, but this is much more homey. So that's on the front page of this week's edition in North Smithfield and Woonsocket. There are other stories in Cumberland. First of all, another one that will certainly be important locally is the Manville Bridge appears about to close on May 4th, they're saying, that the sign says. So in another week or so, we're going to lose the Manville Bridge again. They aren't giving us great details as to my recollection from 6 years ago, which could have changed. Readers and listeners will remember that the Manville Bridge was closed about 6 years ago when they discovered cracks underneath, and it was, they blamed all the massive trucks leaving the quarry in Manville and going across the Manville Bridge and up to 146. They got the blame for it, and so those trucks were all forbidden from using the bridge, so they had to go up Manville Hill Road to Cumberland and Mendon Road and do it that way. And so that's been going on for about 6 years, but now it's time to fix the bridge. The question is, our question, which we didn't get answered, was, as far as we know, it's going to be a full replacement. It's not going to be a repair. It's going to be a full replacement. Whether they can open any of it, I don't think so. I think they're going to have to shut that bridge down, and it'll be just like Albion. It's going to be closed. Albion was last year, and this could be closed for a long time. That's a tough one, because first of all, it's tough for any business in Manville, and it's also really tough for, I was one of them once 6 years ago, parents going to Mount St. Charles and stuff. If you're Cumberland and you're going to Mount, that's the road you use, and that would not be open anymore. You'd have to figure out another way to cross the river. So that's one of the stories. We also have a story on the top students in Cumberland. Another one is the fact that the school department looks like they're going to have to put off the $83 million in improvements that has already been okayed by the voters. That was a lot of improvements in elementary schools, and right now they're looking at perhaps putting that on hiatus. It didn't mention that it had anything to do with COVID-19, but that's probably percolating in the background that there may be challenges to the state budget coming up. So anyway, a lot of great stuff and interesting stories in this week's Valley Breeze. If you haven't picked it up, please do. If you don't get out or you're not feeling safe these days, you can always go to valleybreeze.com. The stories are there. We appreciate your readership. More importantly, if you pick up the paper, we would urge you, and online also, we would urge you to support our advertisers as best you can at this time. We're very grateful to have them helping the Breeze and the Breeze's staff remain employed and remain working for you and providing you with an absolutely free newspaper. And so we appreciate our advertisers more than you know, and we would appreciate your actively looking at the paper and saying, yes, I can go there, I can go here, I'll support that one, and perhaps even telling them when you get there, look, I saw the ad in the Breeze, I appreciate it. I appreciate your helping to keep the paper coming. So anyway, if you need to talk to us, give us a call at 334-9555. You may be put through to a voicemail, but everybody checks their voicemail quite often. And you can also go to valleybreeze.com and see everybody's email under the staff emails. That's another way to reach us. So 334-9555 or valleybreeze.com. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, Tom. And we got another message that has been written into me, Joe at OneSocketRadio.com. We'll throw this out to Paul and to Tom. Has anyone heard of the, quote, the Rental Property Relief Fund? It's in regard to a second stimulus payment, round 2. Same subject. It's also titled Emergency Money for the People Act. Several representatives across the country have endorsed this, including Rep. Omar from where I don't know. I think she's Michigan. Sorry. Minnesota. Okay. I have not heard. Is it part of this new round 2 of the stimulus package, this rental property relief fund?
I don't know.
Is that business commercial properties, Joe, or for residential?
It doesn't say. It just says the rental property relief fund.
Yeah, and who's it for? I mean, we don't know much about it.
I would say people that are renting.
And do they pay the rent?
It pays the rent for them, I guess.
Because right now there's nobody paying the rent. They've already been forgiven from paying the rent, so I'm not sure. So essentially you're bailing out the landlords, which I support, by the way, because the landlords have mortgages and stuff. But listen, in an emergency, politicians are going to dream up some of the craziest things you've ever heard. And you're going to sit back and say, what? Because already they've told tenants they don't have to pay. Gina Raimondo already reminded them, don't you worry about not paying your rent, because the court's not even open, so nobody can come after you.
Can't evict you.
They can't evict you. So nobody cares at all about the landlord who still has to make a mortgage payment. I just get a kick out of these politicians who are always, we're of the people, and don't you worry, you don't have to make a rent payment. Meanwhile, the landlord's standing there living month to month, and he's got a job, and he's just like, what? What did you just do to me? Well, no one cares about you because you're just a rich landlord. And I'm sure there are some rich landlords out there who can absorb it, but I just think back to when I was a poor landlord and owned my 4-family house on Spring Street in Woonsocket. And had I had politicians at the time in the late 1980s saying to people, don't worry, you don't have to pay Tom. He's just a rich landlord. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got to pay my mortgage. It's a business. It's a small business. So I just wish there was some concern sometimes for people like that. But people know me, and they've heard me complaining about this for a long time now. I would never be in the landlord business again like I was 30 years ago, because you're competing against the government, and the government is out to squash private landlords. So this is just part of it. But anyway, I haven't heard anything about a new bill that would give money to tenants to pay their bills. Are they going to? Why give them money? Why not just give it to the landlord? I mean, I don't know.
All right. So, and Paul,
I can tell you, if Omar's in support of it, though, I can tell you I'm not. It's a gas bag stupid bill. I can guarantee you that.
Paul, in terms of the second round of the money for small businesses that got passed, do you see that helping out quite a bit?
Well, not quite a bit. I mean, it will be some help, but if it was like the first round, that money is going to be sucked up rather quickly. I know that a lot of people, and the message would be that the $6 billion that has been appropriated for small businesses, if you were rejected the first time around, I would encourage you to apply again. I'm not sure, and something I have to look into is that if you were in the queue, if you're already in the queue, I think you'd be in line for getting some funds. But if you haven't applied yet, I'd do it rather quickly. It's unknown if this gets sucked up as fast as the first round did. If they would come back again, I don't know where we could keep getting this money, but it will be a relief for a lot of people. But again, I'd encourage businesses to apply now, even though the president hasn't signed off on it yet. I would definitely get in the queue.
Okay, we have the writer has written back on this rental property relief fund. They're just saying it's full rent and mortgage payment forgiveness. It doesn't say for how long. Can't be forever. Maybe it's for 3 months or 6 months or like that. But that's what this rental property relief fund is supposed to be: full rent and mortgage payment forgiveness.
Is there enough we can give out to people?
It's all free, Tom.
I know.
But I haven't heard about this one. No.
So people who have, I don't know. No, I'm not going to go there. But,
all right.
But first of all, it's not going to pass, so we can stop talking about it because it's not going to pass. Like I said, if Omar's thumbprint is on it, it's never getting past the Senate, and it's never getting past the president. End of story. But you make what this is politics, and I would say to the caller, it doesn't matter good idea, bad idea. What happens is politicians put forward ideas. They know they're not going to go anywhere, just so they can say, see, I love you. And those bad Republicans are horrible, horrible human beings. They don't love you. The fact is, there's no money to pay this bill, but they don't care. And so their message is just, I care, they're mean, reelect me, hate them. And that's what we have come to now as a country. Omar, who married her brother to get into the country.
Alleged.
Well, they're pretty bad. They're past allegedly. Just don't expect it to be reported. So this is what we're up. I mean, I listened to AOC Rail the other day. Paul was just talking about the monies, and he's right. That I think Paul is exactly right. If you're a small business and you didn't get the first round, do it now. Get in there because there is going to be more money coming. But one of the problems in the first round is how much money wound up going to big business, and Ruth's Chris became the whipping boy, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouses became the whipping boy because it would be the whipping girl because it's Ruth, but because they took $20 million and they're giving it back now. So they get shamed into giving it back, and that's the right thing, by the way. So. But you have others who will not be shamed. You have Harvard University, who has a $40 billion endowment fund. I think the number was $7 million, and they're not giving it back because I'm sorry.
They got shamed into it, and they're giving it back.
Oh, they got shamed too. Oh, thank God. As of yesterday, I had heard they weren't shamed enough either, because they're Harvard and they're better than the rest of us, and so they were going to keep it. So I'm glad they finally got shamed into giving it back. But I listened to AOC Rail on the House floor yesterday about, how we're supposed to do a small business and it's stupid. And I'm like, hey, AOC, didn't you, like 2 weeks ago, approve this bill? I mean, you did this, right? And then you get back into, Nancy Pelosi we didn't have time. It was an emergency. We didn't have time to read the bill. And it's true, it was an emergency, but sometimes 24 more hours to read a bill, and then you can figure out that it's all going to go to the big guys. So we're gonna have to fight that battle for a long time now, saying that too much of that bill, and I would agree, too much of that bill went to people who not so much didn't need the help, but could have figured out other ways. Ruth's Chris is a public company, so they could sell more stock, or there's things that other things can do where a small restaurant, local hometown ownership restaurant, they don't have access to capital markets, and they can't float bonds, they can't do any of that stuff. They can only go to their bank and ask for help. And so I'm glad they shamed, and I'm certainly glad Harvard was shamed, because all of the Ivies should be shamed. Because they're just, they have these massive, and any college that has tons of money in endowments should not be bothering the government. That money's for small business. These places, if you get $40 billion in your endowment the way Harvard does, well, maybe you're just going to have to pony up a couple $100 million of it and take care of your employees, and shame on them for not doing it, and shame. And I'm glad that it was brought out and they've reversed that, but anyway, the point is AOC and all these other socialists are going to go wild about this stuff, but they signed it, they passed it, their name's on the bill. I mean, come on, people. So there's going to be a lot of posturing in the especially because it's a political year. Oh my God, I retire in a month, and believe me, I'm going to be happy to be checked out of this political season, because it's going to be the ugliest one of my lifetime, and I don't want to be around it, frankly. I'll be on the golf course.
No, you can't go golfing.
No, I know. I'll be on the golf course alone.
Alone. You're right. Hey, Tom, it looks like maybe some people in Georgia are thinking for themselves.
Really?
I'm getting a report here. A former professional wrestler, he's now a gym owner and yoga instructor. Yeah. And he lives in Georgia, and he says he's not reopening. He's like, nope, we have to err on the side of caution. He goes, I'm not opening my gym and yoga studio.
And you know what? If first of all, this is what I mean about making decisions.
Yeah.
If he's not, maybe he's fortunate to be in a financial position where he's like, you know what, I can afford another month.
Yeah,
my employees are okay, and so I'm just going to be a little bit more careful. Good, let him make that decision. And the one I said, well, there might be one who's desperate, and they're going to open, and they're going to contaminate the world. No, they're going to open, and some clients will be there, and some clients are going to stay away, and then they'll have to make a determination, like every business, whether it's worth being open, or whether he or she is going to limit their hours, or they're going to step up and do additional cleaning of the facility each day, or maybe twice a day. Maybe they hire a minimum wage employee who simply walks around with the spray bottle, and once somebody leaves a station, they get everything gets sprayed down and cleaned up a little bit. There's just little things that are going to change, and so let them change, and let the business owner decide whether it's worth it. And fend for themselves, but let them at least have the choice. Let them open and make the choice, or not. Right.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program. So, Tom, it's time for a second message from the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Well, as I was, explaining about supporting our advertisers and supporting the paper, there's one other way you can do that. Is short term anyway. I know the Breeze wrote a very, the new leadership at the Breeze wrote a very heartfelt column about local journalism, and the Breeze has been provided for 24 years now, free of charge to everybody, and so they are accepting donations at this time, and the donations are basically to keep the news staff intact and working and paid, and so if you've never paid a penny for the Breeze, and that's pretty much all of you, including me, then this might be a time where you could make a small donation to help out and keep journalism alive here in the Blackstone Valley, and we would appreciate that very much. You just need to go to the website and click on the links there and make a quick and easy donation. And if you do that, I say thank you in advance. That's it, Joe.
All right. Very good, Tom. Thanks. More Coffee Ants coming up. Please stay tuned.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Rhode Island Army National Guard. Aired by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association and this station.
These days, we all probably know of a local business that is struggling to adapt to the current realities. Here's a small way that you can help.
Announcing the Gift Card Challenge.
If you're able, think of your favorite local business and then buy a gift card today.
Buy it online or pledge to buy one as soon as you can.
Every little bit will help.
Restaurants have takeout or delivery. Many businesses have online shopping options.
Participate in the gift card challenge today.
Buy a gift card.
Any amount and show your support for our local businesses in this time of need.
Keep it for yourself to use at a later date or pass it along to someone you know that's on the front lines doing what they can to keep us all safe.
Make the pledge and buy a gift card today.
Participate in the gift card challenge.
Post and tag the business you selected on social media and challenge your friends and neighbors to do the same.
Working together, one card at a time, we can all make a difference.
One of our favorite local businesses is Gotta Q Smokehouse Barbecue in the Sierra Plaza, Mendon Road, Cumberland. Stop in or go online to gottaq.com to purchase a gift card today.
Just a reminder from your friends at ON Radio. ON Cares.
It's the Coffee and Program on ON with Joe Callahan, Tom Ward, and Paul Willett is here as well. One other subject I wanted to get to before we close out the show, if you remember, it was about 4, maybe 6 weeks ago, we had the story about the Woonsocket school teacher on her Twitter account saying she would pay money to anyone with the COVID-19 to go cough on President Trump. Remember that story?
I do.
Okay. Paul, remember that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, she denied doing it at all. She said she was hacked in and someone did it on her behalf. Now she has resigned her position as a school teacher in Woonsocket. And the Woonsocket School Committee accepted her resignation. Now, it doesn't say whether or not she's still saying that she's innocent or guilty on this, but it's just curious that she would resign her position, don't you think?
Well, I'm sure the backlash maybe got to a point where she just couldn't take it anymore and said, you know what, I'm out of here.
Possibly. You're right.
No. I'm not buying that, but
No.
thanks. Thanks for sharing.
No.
Wow.
No,
No,
I listen, if I was innocent, if I was truly innocent and I'd been hacked into,
You'd fight.
you'd have to drag me kicking and screaming out of the school department. And maybe they would, but I would defend myself to the death. And so my guess is that she may have done it.
May have done it.
Just
okay.
a guess.
Would you have... Hi, this is Dave.
Yes.
Would you have defended yourself to the death if you had a one-year contract, which was over in another month or so, and...
Wasn't being renewed?
It wasn't being renewed, and you were going on a disciplinary hearing, and you couldn't prove that you'd been hacked. So you knew that you were going to be let go in the disciplinary hearing because, first of all, you're temporary help, and so you don't have any standing. The unions told you, we don't have anything to defend you with.
Right, we can't
There's no
really.
way for us to persuade those people that it wasn't you.
Right.
And you're out of work in a couple of months anyway, and they're not going to renew your contract because
Right.
of this.
Right.
So
why resign?
Why? Because if she resigned, she got to sign a letter.
She signed something that says we're not gonna talk about this anymore.
Save harmless, right? And nobody's going to talk about it. The school department's not going to badmouth her. She's not going to sue the school department. They got a settlement letter. No money.
Be
A settlement
easier for her to get another job too.
Yeah, she could get a job in San Francisco. It pays even more.
There you go.
And everyone hates President Trump, so she'd fit right in.
I'm just saying that the circumstances were a little different. Under those circumstances, would you have fought to the death?
I know what you're saying. I can tell you right now, I would have defended my name. To say just go quietly, that wouldn't have been my style. But I know what you're saying. There are many extenuating circumstances about pay, benefits, all those kinds of things that we don't know anything about, and I accept that. But I can tell you, I'd get my pay and my benefits, and then I'd be out there screaming on the rooftop saying I did not do this. But my hunch, without knowing, is that she may very well have been responsible for it. But we'll never know. We'll never know.
Not now, yeah. Now that she's gone. All right. One of the other things that the governor came out with yesterday, she actually said she doesn't see where any large gathering is going to happen until at least maybe August. Okay, and you know what that does? That kills
Bankrupt
the Pawtucket
state?
Well, it kills the Pawtucket Red Sox season right now.
That's true. That's
Now,
true.
the Red Sox haven't said anything because who knows? Maybe we can all get back together in June. I don't know. But if she's right and we're staying closed through August, Paw Sox are done.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and the other thing, and there was an article yesterday about the proposed soccer stadium, and that, a lot of, I don't want to say second rate, but, a lot of, minor teams, a lot of them are on a shoestring. And, now it's being brought into question, will that proposal happen in Pawtucket?
Oh God, that's bad news. I know what you're saying, though, Paul. You're right. These are not. They depended on the world the way it was, and do you want to be sticking a shovel in the ground and beginning to assume all kinds of debts or costs if you're not sure it's going to come out
reality
well on the other end?
But some good news, and we're still in talks. We may have some form of, as you know, we had to cancel the Paw Sox luncheon, the annual luncheon, in negotiation with the Red Sox to try to have some type of a virtual, I wouldn't call it a webinar, but some type of virtual luncheon. So we'll have more information on that, but that could be something to look for. But you're right, Joe. I at that juncture, if to be the case, we probably won't see a season.
Unless, they're still not building in Worcester. They had to stop, and so maybe in 2021 we'll have a couple of games in Pawtucket before they finish up building the other one in Worcester. Still a possibility.
I hadn't even thought of this before, Joe. You bring up the Paw Sox, and there's some talk about bringing back baseball, but no fans, blah, blah, blah. But even if baseball with no fans comes, baseball players get injured, and there's a farm system. And so if the farm system, the farm system's not the Red Sox, so it's not like the Paw Sox can go on TV and make all kinds of money and keep the business going, without fans in the stadium. And so it all begins to break down, because then it's like, as players get hurt, who replaces them? Guys who are just basically working in batting cages and staying in shape. That's what you'd be down to. Guys who aren't playing baseball, but they're just staying in shape, kind of waiting and hoping, working somewhere, hoping to get a phone call. I mean, that would be the next in line, the on deck circle people.
Major League Baseball has said they're thinking about playing in empty stadiums, and that might work for them, and their TV ratings would be astronomical. Minor League Baseball, on the other hand, has already said we will not play in empty stadiums.
Right. There's no money. There's because they don't get the TV money, and so but like I said, then I just thought of the next step. It's like, okay, but when people get hurt in Major League Baseball, where are the subs going to come from?
That's right. You're hoping and praying that the ones that's been sitting around just hitting in the tunnel is going to be okay enough to step up.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be good. Don't know yet. All right, we've come to the end of the program, so we thank you for listening. Paul Willett, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks. Have a good weekend. Enjoy tomorrow.